Hello everybody, this is Miranda the Hybrid. Today we are going to learn about rim lights, not the other thing. Get your head out of the gutter. So rim lights are fun because it's essentially two light sources that we're going to be working with, although that one's completely upside down. It should be more like that. So two light sources. Now if you're at home and you're doing this, see if you can find colored paper or gray paper. It's a lot easier to do shading when you have gray paper. So you want to get gray paper and you want to get a white charcoal or white colored pencil. So first I'm going to make the background a slightly grayish color. If you are using digital, please do that too. New layer. Now the last video I showed you about the very basic techniques of shading. Now we're going to apply one of those, and I haven't decided which one yet because I'm a butt, and we're going to shade a sphere, except with a rim light. Or not even a sphere. I'm going to come up with a funky object. Let's see. What can I come up with? I want a sphere over here, and you guys can follow along right at home. So we're going to make a sphere, and we want to put in our ground plane. My ground plane's going to start back there. And for ground planes, you just want to draw some thinner lines in the background, like closer together, and then they get wider and wider as they come towards you. That's very basic perspective right there. And then some lines on the ground plane right there. And so you can kind of imagine your horizon point is right there. And that's where you're making these lines kind of come out of. We want this ground plane so much because it's going to help us put a shadow down. Shadows are fun. Actually, let's just start with a sphere in the beginning. We can do a more complicated version for the next video. So in the last video, I was working with a light source that came down kind of like if you're holding a flashlight to a soccer ball right in front of you. So it's going to go like that. Our second light source is going to be like if you took a lamp and you pointed the lamp, that's a bad lamp. You pointed the lamp right here, so it's coming boom like that. But as you can see, it's farther away in perspective. This one is almost like it's sitting right there. So we have two different lamps. 1, 2. The shading we're going to start on is lamp number 1. So just like before, we have our highlight right here. And I'm going to put my pencil to the side so I can bulk in the shadows nice and quick like that. Go ahead at home. However you want to shade this, shade it like that. I know last one we practiced contour shading, we practiced cross hatching, we practiced a bunch of stuff. But for this one, I'm going to do shading that's more akin to smudging things, like a big, nice charcoal pencil with a good smudge on it. There we go. Laying in our shadows, bit by bit by bit by bit by bit. And a little bit more here, a little bit more, a little bit more. I'm going to smudge it a bit. Jagged brush is good for smudging. I like jagged brush. Just gonna lay the shadows in nicely. Also, in this one, I want to show you how to put a ground shadow on, because ground shadows are important to properly position your object in the space it exists in. And that's important, because if you don't, you're just going to have a bunch of floating characters. I mean, if it's in water, that's fine, obviously, or in outer space. Floating characters are fine. But for this one, you don't want that. So your light's coming here, and your light's coming here, which means that your shadow, imagine where it'd be hitting. Your shadow's probably going to hit kind of like that. And so you're going to get the darkest part of the shadow right next to the ball. It's going to get lighter as it goes outwards, kind of like that. Because then you have other ambient light coming down and filling in the edges of the shadows. So nice and dark on the bottom, getting a little bit lighter out towards the edges. And bam, suddenly you have that ball placed on your plane. And now that you know it's that dark there, you want to add a little bit more dark here. Just a wee bit, just an itty bitty little bit. Just like that. This is a squished ball. It's like a sad yoga ball. It's like a yoga ball that got sat on by an elephant for a little bit too long. Okay, so we have our sphere in its perspective. I'm going to clean up my lines a little bit just because I'm a perfectionist. I don't want it looking weird. And later I'm going to show you how to shade an object so you don't have to use lines. It's essentially realism shading. This right now, using the lines, is just to make sure you know where the object is in space. Okay, so we have our sad, slightly lopsided ball. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to erase that highlight point right there. Right now is when we're going to need this. Now I'm going to choose a different color completely. This light source here, let's see. I'm going to make that light source up there bright yellow. It's going to be a happy, bright yellow light source. I'm just going to beam out, and I'm going to make sure to color the light bulb that color so we know that's where it's coming from. It's just going to beam out of our light, and it's going to hit on that ball right there. I'm going to smudge it in a little bit just so it's consistent with the rest of the style of the ball. And I'm smudging in a circular pattern like that to make sure it goes along with the contour lines of the sphere itself. So we have that nice bright ball, have its light source now. I'm going to just spread it a bit. Spread it like a deadly virus. Oh, so insensitive, Miranda. And I'm going to mix in the colors a bit. We're going to blend a little bit more just to regulate the dispersal of the light. Okay, and I'm going to put my highlight, my brightest point, right here. And I like making it circular to make it look like it's going along the contour lines of the ball. And I'm even pushing it a little bit brighter. Why not? It's a bright boy. Bright boy. Okay, so now we have that light source. We know that it's a gray yoga ball and it's being hit by yellow light. But now, what about this lamp over here? He's kind of lonely. Oops. Lonely. And let's see, what color should he be? I'm going to make him blue. Blue. He's going to be a blue light. Although the blue has to be a slightly brighter tone than the gray in the background. So we're going to do that. We're going to do that. And we're going to move it like that. Yeah. I'm going to fill that in. Actually, that's the same tone as the gray, so we're going to pop it up a little bit brighter. There we go. So we know that this light source now is that nice bright blue, number 2. Now this is why it's called a rim light, because it's only hitting on the rim of your object. Just like that. Just like that. And kind of eke it in gently. Don't smudge it too much, because again, it's just hitting the rim of your object. And badam! You have a rim light. Just like that. Now it looks like there's 2 light sources. One thing I would suggest is picking up a dark color again after you put in the rim light and kind of pressing your shadow up against it. Because what the rim light is doing is it's filling in the light area that normally, you get reflections on over here and here. In fact, with the reflections, what if the floor was red? Let's start adding in colors and seeing how horrible we can make this look. Yeah, let's do our primaries. Primaries. Okay, enough with that. So I'm quickly going. This is hypothetical because some of you guys don't have digital brushes and you can't do this in like 2 seconds like I can. But hypothetically, what if the floor was lava? Oh wow, I didn't realize that it would color the ball too. Whoopsies! We're gonna have to erase that. Hypothetically, imagine if the floor was lava and you could erase the lava immediately because you had really advanced super space technology. So the floor is lava. Your ball is gray. There is a yellow light source. There is a blue light source. What's going to happen to this area right here? The reflection. Here, let me grab my buffet. That's too many buffet now. Okay, to the reflection. Oh my good lord. Okay, inking, sketching. There we go. To the reflection down here. Well, your yellow light is coming down and bouncing onto the floor. In fact, you can kind of cop that in a bit. Cop that in, whatever it's called. So you get a brighter light source because you have that yellow light popping down onto that bright ball, onto that bright, shiny, reflective ball. So now with that slight amount of red, light red I put down, I've even more reinforced the fact that there is a light source coming down and hitting our ball. And so now, but remember what I said? The light from the floor bounces back onto the ball. So what we're going to do, I'm going to grab a slightly darker tone, is we're going to just put some of that red on the ball because it's reflecting onto the ball. And this is how you start eking towards realism, my wonderful people. You take everything you know from the surrounding, I don't know, what do you want to call it, environment that you make, and you try to discover how it's reacting. You try to discover, okay, so yellow light, blue light, but ooh, yellow light hitting floor. Let's get a bright, obnoxious color to do these things. So yellow light, blue light, yellow light hitting floor, creating brighter red. Red reflects onto ball. So in a way, it's not only just art, it is a thought process. You have to think about how things react to each other, because that's how realism starts. You have to create your environments in your brain. Yeah. But anyhow, that's rim lighting. That's the very, very basics of rim lighting. I have no idea what lesson we're going to do next, but wait until it finishes, wait until it uploads, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Hang in there.